What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I did just spend the last week of my life down in the South Island. For the first ever time, I was down in Christchurch, and it was a great trip. I did do a good bit of filming down there while I was kind of out and about. Now, the thing is, I didn't record a lot of toy hunting. I did go out to shops and try to find what I could find. I didn't record a whole lot of it. So this is going to be a little bit different. It won't just be my normal ham-handedly fumbling the camera while being too close to toys, blocking kids from the toy aisle like I usually like to do. It's going to be a mix of that plus some other stuff, some touristy little natural beauty moments, if you will. I will be timestamping all of the actual toy hunting bits in a comment below. So if you just want to skip any of that natural beauty, you want to go straight to that plastic, I don't blame you. I would too. Just basically forewarning you that this won't be my usual type of content. I probably won't do this sort of video again, just as a one-off, but it's kind of fun to do. So big thank you also to everyone who has subscribed lately, left comments and everything like that. It's cool knowing that people are watching me just awkwardly fumble around with my phone in my hand in front of toys. It makes it all worth it, the embarrassment. So thank you. What's going on, everybody? It's your hero here, Shotgun Justice. Checking in from the playground. Now it is currently 8:30 a.m. It is Sunday, October 12th, and in just a few short hours, I will be taking a plane trip down to Christchurch in the South Island of New Zealand. I've squeezed all I can out of toy hunting here in Hamilton, up in the mighty Waikato. So I will be going down south just to look for some more toys. That's really all I'm going for, you know? I better get off this playground. A grown man talking about toys at a playground is very creepy, so let's get out of here. Breakfast of Champions right here. Making sure we have everything we need for a week-long trip. We've got underwear, socks, Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen robot replica skids. Here at the glorified bus stop of the Hamilton Airport. And just waiting for the plane to take off now. Maybe you can tell on my face, but it was really, really hot on the plane. And for my in-flight entertainment, I did bring along Volume 1 of the Skybound Transformers comic series. Picked this up a while back and I hadn't read it. Now that I finally have, I really did enjoy it, and now I'm on the lookout for Volume 2. Ooh, shiny. We have landed in Christchurch now. It's really windy outside. I'm in a quiet part of the airport. It's actually really empty over here. It's kind of surreal being an empty airport. Beautiful day outside down here in Christchurch. Look at that architecture. That's pretty interesting there. Waiting for my Uber now. It's pretty warm down here. It's really reminding me of my southern roots as I'm heading south. My big southern trek this week. So we made it to the hotel, just getting settled in now. Went for a walk on the beach. It's very windy, very hot. I was getting sand just blasted in my face. It was like my corneas just got sand blasted, so that wasn't the best, but pretty nice hotel right up on the beach, so it's pretty pleasant. So I know you guys don't care about this, but you know, it's a little bit of a travelogue experience. I feel like you're coming along on this trip with me, and it makes me feel a little bit less lonely. Toy. Bit of an impromptu stop at the warehouse, and I have to say I was pretty impressed. You can see here they had Mixmaster, Bone Crusher, Scavenger, KSI Widow, but the big thing, seeing 86 Megatron at a warehouse for the first time. They had Grimlock too there, but yeah, I hadn't seen him at a warehouse at all so far, so that was pretty impressive just down here in Christchurch. But as you can see, yeah, they did have the Constructicons, a lot of Red Alert as always, but yeah, pretty impressive. You got TF1 Elita 1 there. I think there was a Starscream in there as well. Yeah, Starscream back there too, so pretty good. Look how they massacred my boy. It's a very well-stocked warehouse. I've never seen this many of the Jada Street Fighter figures either. I don't collect these, but it's certainly cool to see them all in person, as well as a lot of WWE stuff and other stuff. You don't see this level of stock of WWE in Hamilton. The original plan for today was just to go out and get Taco Bell for dinner, but then I saw the warehouse was in the same shopping center. I figured might as well check it out, and I was actually really impressed by that warehouse. Pretty much could have completed Devastator. You would have just been missing the 2-pack as well as Scrapper, but very impressed so far seeing Megatron there especially. But good sign so far for Christchurch, so let's hope the good luck continues as our toy hunts continue. Welcome back. It is now Monday morning, October 12th. I was just down on the beach. I got myself a pretzel. It wasn't too bad. A little too hard for my taste. I like a real soft pretzel. I was going to actually film this little intro bit while I was down at the beach, but the waves are really loud and I'll be screaming into the camera like I was mentally challenged. I didn't want to do that, so I figured I'll get back to my hotel room on the balcony now. You can see it's pretty scenic out there. Got a nice view of my neighbor's yard, so I can see them doing things. That's nice. But yeah, gonna be going out today and actually looking for toys, looking for games, finally getting into the city, venturing into that big city known as Christchurch and getting my first real southern city experience. We'll see how this goes today. I'm feeling it. I can feel it. It wouldn't be a trip to Christchurch without visiting the brutalist time zone arcade. Look at that. Of course, inside it's just like any other time zone arcade, but the building's cool. And it would only cost you $6,800 in games to win these tickets. Enough boring tourist activities. It's time to go to Toy World. Still got Magmatron on clearance at $80. I paid $100 for him, so pretty good. Now, very unusually for a Toy World, they do have the Joy Toy Warhammer 40,000 as well as the Joy Toy TMNT stuff. Never seen that in another Toy World. They did have a decent TCG section as well, and quite a few model kits, so definitely not your standard Toy World fare. Speaking of modeling, they had an absolutely massive Warhammer section here. I found out after this is actually the biggest tour world in New Zealand, so it makes sense for them to have a bit of a different selection. But in saying that, I've never seen any Warhammer stuff at my local toy world, so it must do pretty well for them, but still pretty unusual for a toy world, I would say. Now, unfortunately, what was pretty bog standard was their Transformers section. You got Megatronus there, G2 Grimlock, Galvatron still shell forming, but a lot of the same stuff. Cosmos is a little bit more unusual. He did have a G2 breakdown behind him. Otherwise, Devastation, Prime. Bone Crusher, it's pretty cool seeing him. Q, who's a shell former. TF1 Starscream, Armada Wheeljack. You got Skybite, 86 Jazz. Looks behind him. Nothing behind him there, unfortunately, hiding. Nothing good anyway. Dungeon Dragon, just legendary shell formers these here. Pretty substantial section of knockoff Transformers here as well. Unusual for Toy World, definitely.
Bruticus? No, Starscream! Not Bruticus!
Battle. And it's still just amazing to see the amount of these Magmatrons they have on clearance. I do wonder how cheap they'll get. If they'll get down to like $30 to $40, I might buy another one. You guys remember Squeaks from Transformers The Last Night? Yeah, me neither. And after a few brief detours, we head into Farmers in the Rickerton Mall. And this Farmers certainly had a lot of Devastation Optimus and Transformers 1 B127. You see a honking ton of them there. More Devastation Primes. A lot of B127s, so they were definitely well stocked for those guys. Otherwise, yeah, you did have the Blockies Galaxy version, which started appearing in Farmers, which are pretty cool. They are pretty expensive at Farmers, though. Otherwise, yeah, Red Alert and Ironhide, two of the other big shell formers. I knocked him over there. You see a ton of those guys. And before I fumble through these leader class toys here, I do notice Onyx Prime watching this footage back. Now, the whole 13 Prime as part of the Transformers lore just doesn't really appeal to me. So if you notice when I'm out toy hunting and I just kind of shuffle past these guys, they're just not really ones that I'm looking out for. So I don't even really notice them when they're on the shelves. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of context there. If you see me quickly just rifle past these Prime figures without even mentioning them, I generally don't really know about the characters. With that spiel out of the way, we've got AoE Optimus, G2 and G1 Grimlock, Megatronus, so kind of the same stuff we've seen around otherwise. You good, brah? Now we will make a quick stop in Whitcoll's. Whitcoll's is a bookstore that usually has some pretty out-of-date Transformers. In this case, it's Core Class Ravage and Core Class Iguanus. That was all they had, and they had quite a few of both of them. But nothing for me today, but you can sometimes find some pretty rare stuff here that no one has stumbled upon yet. Quick stop in EB Games, who have started stocking more Transformers lately. They've got a Bone Crusher. Vortex is actually not one you see very often. They did have Megatronus as well, who seems to be a shell former down here. Now, they did have Blockies, but $9 for Blockies Defenders? Come on, man. Now, I did used to work for JB Hi-Fi, but they didn't sell Transformers back then, unfortunately. And they still don't sell too many. They've got a lot of the AMK model kits, but otherwise, just kind of a small selection of deluxes. The Australian branch of JB has quite a bit more Transformers-wise. And you know we're in trouble when Kmart is our last hope for the day. And our hopes are quickly dashed because this is Kmart, but they do have this big goofy robot here. Speaking of big goofy robots, a couple of different RC Optimus Primes and Rise of the Beast packaging. He doesn't look particularly Rise of the Beasty. And then we've got Master of the Universe, Man-at-Arms Bumblebee, Not sure the Man-at-Arms Bumblebee connection, but one connection that does make sense is Skeletor and Megatron. These were $60 though, so I passed. So just a warning, this is the tourist section of the video. On Tuesday, I actually didn't go out and do really any toy hunting at all. Now feel free to skip this. I will be timestamping all of the toy hunts in that comment I mentioned. So, you know, just go to that and don't worry about it. But if you do want to see some beautiful scenery filmed by yours truly, this is for you. We're here with the Springfield Donut. So this is in Springfield, New Zealand. This was actually donated by Fox around the time the first Simpsons movie came out. They gave big donuts like this to some Springfields around the world. And this is the one in Springfield, New Zealand, in the South Island. I may be the only person who's ever taken Tung 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 Sahur up this trail. Yeah, all this beautiful scenery, this is great and all, but wouldn't it be better if there were Transformers here? Now, coming back from Arthur's Pass, we didn't actually see any Kia out in the wild, so it was a little bit disappointing, but we get up to the cafe and there's this cheeky little Kia milling around. Now obviously he knows where the food is, and I thought I was doing a good job blocking him and protecting my precious pie, my $9 touristy pie. Being a dopey tourist, I'm here like this, holding my phone like this. I've got my hand over my pie. So I'm thinking, oh, you know, he's everything's all good. I'll just film this bird. I'll just film this bird while this happens. Well, let's just watch what happens. No. I was very upset after that bird pinched me pie, so I had to take the day off, but we're heading into Toy World now. I can't believe how many of these Magmatrons they still have on clearance. I thought I got a pretty good deal for $100, but they're probably going to go even cheaper. Otherwise, it was a lot of the same stuff we've seen on clearance, the Age of Extinction Studio Series Galvatron, as well as a lot of the Bumblebee movie RCs. They've got so many of those, I don't know if they'll ever get rid of them. And back in our normal Transformers section, they do have Star Optimus Prime. You don't see him at every Toy World, as well as Venom, KSI Widow. So a couple of newer things here. The problem with Toy World is just the prices are usually pretty crazy, and it's pretty rare for them to have a decent sale. Red Alert, as you'll see everywhere. I don't think we'll ever be rid of him. G2 Grimlock, TF1 Starscream. Heatwave is not one you see everywhere either, so kind of cool to see him. And yeah, G2 Grimlock here. Megatronus really seems like he is a South Island shelf warmer. We don't see nearly as many of him still in Hamilton. Lurking behind G2, we've got his G1 brother, as well as some interesting KOs over here. Now, in the same shopping center as that Toy World, there is a warehouse. Now, they were not nearly as well stocked, but they were a lot cheaper. So they had G-Axis here, not one you still see on the shelves very often. Dark of the Moon Q, Venom as far as something new. I think they did have a Bone Crusher as well. Yeah, we had Bone Crusher in there too. Now, the warehouse is cheaper in general than Toy World, but on top of that, they were doing a buy one, get one 50% off sale. So, for example, you could have gotten Megatronus and Venom here for about $120 total, whereas Megatronus himself was just $140 at Toy World. So just an example of how expensive Toy World is. Now, I didn't buy anything here, but the prices were way better. And the shopping center also has a farmer, so let's check that one out while we're here. Yeah, not a lot of Transformers in this one. First thing I noticed was this Jaded Diecast Jazz. That might have been the peak of what they had, so let's have a look and see. We got Crasher. Again, not one you see everywhere, B127. Stitch Jump Scare, another B127, Solus Prime, bunch of Ironhide and Red Alert, Megatronus again, Shockwave still lurking around, so not too bad, but not very much. I hadn't seen these McFarlane figures at Farmers before, and what kid doesn't want to play with a bald guy in a suit? And you never know what you're going to get in Whitco's, because usually the toys are about 3 years old. Now they say they have terrific toys here. Is Kickback a terrific toy? I guess opinions vary there. Now he was $45, so I passed. It's Thursday now. We're here for our final day in Christchurch, final full day anyway, and haven't had too much luck finding any toys so far. So what I'm going to be doing today is just checking out some beautiful nature, first of all, beautiful scenery, but also checking out some pawn shops and little consignment shops, just praying we find something Transformers related to make this video appropriate to post on my channel. Otherwise, you're just going to be watching a travelogue. Isn't that strange? Now, I love pawn shops, and I've been seeing this big red pawn shop the entire week I've been in Christchurch, so let's get in there and see what they've got. Looks like it'll be pretty good. Now, they did have quite a few games. I have been trying to complete some of the Transformers game collections on different consoles. Now, the only Transformers game that I saw that they had, unfortunately, was Dark of the Moon on 3DS. Now, my issue with Dark of the Moon on 3DS, you don't play as a robot. You just play as a car. Now look at that footage I'm putting up on screen. If you saw this, would you have any idea this was a Transformers game, or would you think it was just a car combat game? If you're only going to be able to play as a car or a robot in a Transformers game, you got to make it the robot. Definitely didn't think I'd ever see Bring Arts figures at a pawn shop. That is very strange. And the only Transformers we have are these die-cast cars. Kind of fits with the 3DS game though, I guess. You know times are tough when someone sold the Fugler collection to a pawn shop. And directly across the street is the Woolston Emporium, which I know has a little hobby shop in it. And this was definitely a cool little stall in this consignment shop. A lot of 90s Japanese anime figures, which is a really cool aesthetic. There's this little CRT TV here hooked up to this camcorder. There's me. That's pretty cute. And, you know, as far as the prices, they knew what they had. Like, we've got this Halo Target exclusive figure for $200. That might be the going rate for that one. I don't know. Got some little Halo figurines here as well. And I really like this Joyride Toys Grunt, but for $145, I think I'll pass. Just as I'm about to walk away from this booth, assuming they didn't have any Transformers, I spot this stuff in the glass cabinet. I can see a lot of G1 stuff, G1 Menasor there, some Beast Wars, but most importantly for my collecting style, I see Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, $65. I did consider this guy, but I did end up passing as I do have the Kingdom Rodimus Prime. And I guess I'm just not a big enough Hot Rod fan. This figure does look pretty cool, and I'm getting more into the G1 style stuff these days, but I couldn't justify it for now. Did I make a mistake here? Let me know. Activate a 3D Optimus Prime holographic experience. OptimusExperience.com. I gotta get there now. And unfortunately, I will not be able to experience the Optimus Experience, but I could buy this domain for $995 or only $41.46 a month for 24 months. I think I might have to do it. So as I'm filming this, it is now Saturday. I'm back home in Hamilton. As you would have seen in the video, I didn't actually buy anything, which is a little bit disappointing because I did save my money for this trip thinking maybe I would find something different down there. Now, keep in mind, in 3 weeks, November 8th, I will be attending the retro event. I believe this is volume 6 up in Auckland. This is the biggest retro toy event in New Zealand. I will definitely be making some pickups there, and I will definitely be filming that as well. So this was just kind of a little bonus touristy video for me to put something out on the channel. So I hope you have enjoyed it. It was a little bit different for me. And if you did want to know about toy pickups, I did buy a Leader Class Dark of the Moon Sentinel Prime on Trade Me today. So not on video, but still, it's a toy, right? So I hope you have enjoyed this video. A little bit different for me. If you didn't like it, hey, that's okay too. I read all your comments, positive or negative. I'm still going to give it that little heart because I appreciate you taking the time to write it. As always, I appreciate your support and thank you for watching. Peace out. Bye.